My beloved child, quiet your heart and do not be too quick to let your mind run after the noises outside. For there are things I send that are not loud like thunder, nor brilliant like lightning flashing across the sky, but quiet like a gentle breeze touching your soul. Sometimes I use a small event, a fleeting image, a vague uneasiness within your heart, or a moment you think is ordinary to awaken you from the sleep of habit. Yesterday, you were touched by such a sign. You saw it. You paused. You had a passing thought, yet like seed fallen along the roadside. That thing nearly got swept away by worries and distractions. I do not blame you, for I know your tenderness. I know that your heart often wants to walk toward the light, while your flesh is easily pulled back into old paths. But today, I draw nearer to you, not to condemn you, but to lift your face and say, do not ignore what I am reminding you of. For within that reminder there is mercy for you. What I want you to consider is not something far away outside of you, but right within your body. The body I have fearfully and wonderfully made. In that body, there is a door you open every day and rarely guard, your eyes. You think the eyes are only for seeing the road, seeing people, seeing things, and seeing the world in motion. But, my child, the eyes are also a quiet pathway that leads images into the heart, carries desires into the mind, and sows thoughts into the soul. That is why Scripture says, the lamp of the body is the eye. If your eye is good, your whole body will be full of light. Matthew 6:22. This word is not merely a beautiful saying, but a key for you to understand why your inner life at times feels heavy, troubled, dry, or distant from me. There are shadows that do not enter through a great door, but slip in through an uncontrolled glance, an image you keep holding on to, a curiosity you think is harmless, something you know you should not look at, but quietly allow yourself to return to. I know that in the days ahead, many crossroads will stand before you. Some things will appear attractive, radiant, and sweet like ripe fruit, but not everything beautiful before the eyes gives birth to life. Long ago, in the Garden of Eden, Eve saw that the tree was good for food, pleasant to the eyes, and desirable to make one wise. Genesis 3:6. And from an unsanctified gaze, desire grew. The hand reached out, and the fall entered humanity. Do you see? Sin often does not begin with a violent action, but starts with a gaze that has been nourished too long. The enemy of your soul understands this. He does not always attack you with terror. Many times he only places something glittering before your eyes, then whispers, "It is only looking. What harm can it do?" But I, the one who loves you with an everlasting love, tell you that there are glances that awaken your soul, and there are also glances that slowly numb it. Therefore, do not treat this warning as a passing echo. My word is not a sound that falls and then disappears. My word is a lamp to your feet and a light to your path. Psalm 119:105. When I remind you about your eyes, it is because I am showing you where a guard must be set, like a fortress with a gate. If the gate is not protected, the enemy does not need to break down the wall. He only walks in quietly, takes possession of the treasure, and sets up a false throne within your heart. Do you remember Job? In the midst of deep trials, he still said, "I have made a covenant with my eyes," Job 31:1. That is the word of a soul that understands. Holiness is not only found in great acts that people can see, but also in the quiet agreements made in the secret place between you and me. If your eyes learn to turn away from what is unclean, your heart will become lighter. If your eyes learn to look up to me, your mind will be purified. If your eyes are no longer enslaved by dark curiosity, your steps will find peace again. My beloved child, I do not want you to fear the world so much that you close your heart, but I want you to have discernment. Not everything that appears before you comes from me. Some things are invitations of grace, while others are velvet-covered nets of temptation. There is no coincidence in your life in the way you often think. There are encounters I allow in order to teach you wisdom. There are images I let you see so you may recognize the condition of your soul. And there are also traps the enemy sets to draw your eyes away from the light. Therefore, stay awake. Remember what is written. Guard your heart above all else, for from it flow the springs of life. Proverbs 4:23. But a guarded heart cannot be separated from guarded eyes. What the eyes look at for a long time, the heart will gradually come to love. What the heart loves, the feet will move toward. And wherever the feet go, your life will begin to lean in that direction. I want to tell you about Daniel, the young man who was taken to Babylon, a place where everything was foreign, splendid, and full of temptation. Before his eyes were the king's table, fine wine, luxurious food, honor, and the opportunity to blend into the palace of power. But Daniel resolved in his heart that he would not defile himself with the king's portion. He was not merely refusing a meal, he was guarding his eyes and his soul from being captivated by a splendor that did not belong to the Holy Covenant. And I was with him. I gave him wisdom, the beauty of faithfulness, and a light greater than that of the magicians in the court. Do you see, when a person knows how to say no to what pulls at the eyes, I will open within that person a deeper light. What you give up for me is never a true loss. It is the seed of freedom. Today, I do not come to take joy away from you, but to restore pure joy to you. I do not tell you to guard your eyes because I am harsh, but because I know what wounds you. I see the times when you are tired and seek a little comfort in passing images. I see the times when your heart feels empty and you let your eyes wander through fields that have no life. I see even when you tell yourself you are still fine, while something within you is growing dim. My child, return. Wash your eyes in my light. Learn to look upon what is pure, noble, lovely, and worthy. As the word has taught, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is commendable, think about these things. Philippians 4:8. When your mind is nourished by what is holy, your eyes will become less hungry for the things that wear you down. From now on, whenever something appears before your eyes, ask within your heart, is this leading me closer to the Father, or pulling me away from Him? Is this making my soul shine, or covering me with a quiet layer of dust? Is this helping me become more loving, pure, and strong, or is it only making me more enslaved to old desires? You do not need to fight alone. I am closer to you than your breath. When you are weak, call on me. When you have looked at what you should not have looked at, do not run away in shame. Turn back at once. For I am a merciful Father, slow to anger and rich in compassion. But do not play with what I have warned you about. Grace is not a license for you to remain in chains. Grace is the hand that pulls you out of the place where you no longer belong. My beloved child, let your eyes become windows of dawn, not cracks through which night enters. Look at others with compassion. Look at yourself with truth and hope. Look at life with faith. And look at me with the simple love of a child who knows he is embraced. When your eyes are fixed on me, you will no longer be easily enchanted by every false light. When your heart abides in me, the world may be noisy, but it will not rule over you. I am opening your eyes, not only so you may see danger, but so you may see how precious you are. For if you were not valuable, I would not awaken you. If your soul had no future, I would not warn you. But I have called you. I have kept you. I have placed my hand upon you, and I want you to enter the days ahead with bright eyes, a clean heart, and a soul made free in my light. My beloved child, there are nights that are not merely darkness falling upon the earth, nor simply a quiet space between two weary days. There are nights placed within your life like a hidden altar, where I call your name with a gentle voice that only your soul can hear. You think you are merely passing through an ordinary moment, but I tell you, there is no moment in my hand that is meaningless. Even when you sit still in a quiet room, even when your heart sinks because of things not yet answered, heaven is still watching you closely with a love that never fades. For it is written, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you, Jeremiah 1:5. You are not an accident in this vast universe. You are a beloved intention, a breath preserved by me, a soul I am calling nearer to my heart. Many times you have asked yourself why you must walk through valleys so long, why the things you hope for are so slow to bloom, why there are dreams that seem to have died yet still burn quietly in the depths of your heart like a small lamp in the night wind. My child, those questions are not signs of weakness, but the echoes of a soul searching for its way back to the one who created it. When you see that there is still an expectation within you that cannot be extinguished, it is because I have placed in you a seed of life greater than what your eyes can presently see. The years of trial did not come to destroy you, but to strip away from you the layers of fear, so that what I placed within you may be refined like gold in the fire. He knows the way that I take when he has tried me. I shall come forth as gold, Job 23:10. Therefore, do not despise the days when you feel you are merely enduring. Sometimes, in that very endurance, I am quietly building within you a strength you never knew you had. I was there, my beloved child, in the moments when you thought no one saw you. I sat near you in the nights when your heart was heavy, when prayer could no longer become words, when your lips were silent but your soul still trembled and called out to me. I do not need you to speak beautifully, nor do I need you to be strong before me. One choked breath from you is enough to touch my heart. One tear falling in secret is treasured by me more than precious jewels. My word has spoken. The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. Psalm 34:18. You may be misunderstood by people. You may be overlooked amid the noise of the world. But before me, you have never been forgotten. Not one pain of yours falls to the ground without my knowing it. Not one sigh flies into the night without my hearing it. Do you remember that in the wilderness long ago, there was a woman named Hagar who fled in despair? She had been wounded, driven into a desolate place, and thought no one still cared about her fate. But in that dry desert, I sent my angel to meet her beside a spring of water, not in a palace, not among honored crowds, but in the loneliest place, where a soul felt most abandoned. I revealed myself, and she called me the God who sees, because she understood that even when no human eyes remained to support her, my eyes were still upon her. My child, that story is not only a memory from long ago, it is also the word I am speaking to you today. The place you think is a desert may be the place where I open a spring. The place you think is the end may be the very doorway into a holy encounter. Therefore, tonight, do not be quick to dismiss the trembling in your heart as something fleeting. There are times when I cause you to become awake, not to make you more anxious, but to help you recognize that I am drawing near. There are holy restlessnesses that do not come because you are lost, but because your soul is hearing the footsteps of grace. I once said, "Call to me and I will answer you." and I will show you great and hidden things that you have not known. Jeremiah 33:3. You have called to me with words, with tears, with silence, and with the times you still tried to rise, even when your heart was exhausted. And I have not been delayed in the way you think. I am only preparing an answer that is not as narrow as your fear, but as wide as my mercy. Perhaps you have blamed yourself for the times you were weak, for the days when your faith wavered, for the moments when you no longer had enough strength to hope as before. But I, your Father, do not come to rebuke you in your weariness. I come to hold you close and remind you that my love does not depend on your strength. When you fall, I do not leave. When you cry, I do not turn my face away. When you do not know how to pray, the Holy Spirit still intercedes for you with groanings too deep for words. For it is written, we do not know what we ought to pray for, but the Spirit Himself intercedes for us with groanings that cannot be expressed in words. Romans 8:26. Therefore, do not fear your fragility. In the very place where you are tender and weak, I can reveal the gentlest healing power. Let your heart become still tonight, like a quiet lake waiting to reflect the stars. I want you to know that the things not yet fulfilled do not mean they are dead. The doors not yet opened do not mean I have rejected you, and the seasons of silence do not mean I am absent. A sower does not dig up the soil every day to check the seed. He trusts that in the dark earth, life is still quietly growing. So it is with you. There are promises I placed within you that are being nourished in the hidden place. At the appointed time, I will cause them to rise from the soil of tears, stretch toward the light, and bear fruit according to my good will. Therefore, my beloved child, lift up your head even while your eyes are still wet with tears. Tonight is not the final mark of your journey, but a holy pause where I wipe the dust of the road from your soul. I have seen your tired steps, heard your unspoken questions, and held every small piece of hope you thought you had lost. I will never leave you nor forsake you. Hebrews 13:5. Let that word be like fragrant oil poured over your wound, like a small flame warming the cold room within your heart. You are not drifting without direction. You are being led. You are not forgotten in the darkness. You are being covered by me. And when dawn comes, you will understand that tonight was not merely another night in your life, but the hour when I bent down, touched your heart, and called you back to the faith that every tear in my hand can become a seed of new life. My beloved child, amid the countless sounds pressing upon the earth, amid the urgent calls of life, amid the judgments, doubts, pressures, and pull of the world, today I call you by your very name, not a call lost in the crowd, not a vague echo that passes and disappears, but a call flowing from my everlasting love, the call that knew you before you knew yourself. You think you are only a small soul walking through ordinary days, but I say to you, I have called you by your name. You are mine. As it is written in Isaiah 43:1, my child, there are times when you walk among humanity and feel your heart covered by fog. You hear so many voices that you no longer recognize which one is the voice of life and which one is the voice of fear. But I am still there. Not noisy, not competing, not forcing. I stand at the door of your heart, patient, gentle, and steadfast like the dawn that never forgets to come to the horizon. Do not think the silence around you is a sign that I have gone far away. There are silences that are not meant to punish you, but to help your soul hear what is deeper than the voices of the world. When every outer door seems closed, I am opening a way within you. When you think no one sees your tears, I have counted each one like a jewel before me. Psalm 56, 8 says that your tears are written in my book, and that is not a distant image, but an assurance that not one of your pains is forgotten. You may hide your weariness before people, smile while your heart is cracked, and remain silent while your heart is begging for a hand to lift it up. But before me, you do not need to cover anything. I know your weakness, and I do not despise it. I know your trembling, and I do not withdraw my love because of it. Before you stepped into today, I had already gone before you. Before you understood why some things were delayed, I had quietly arranged the timing of grace. You see fragments, but I see the whole picture. You see a long season of waiting, but I see roots growing deep into the soil in preparation for the season of blooming. Do you remember the story of Samuel, when the boy was still lying asleep in the temple? In a time when the word of the Lord seemed rare, I called his name in the night. Samuel, Samuel. At first he did not recognize my voice and thought his teacher was calling him. But I patiently called again. And when he said, "Speak, for your servant is listening," a new life began to unfold. My beloved child, so it is with you. Sometimes you do not recognize my voice immediately. You think it is only a passing, stirring, an inexplicable restlessness, a quiet prompting within your heart. But I am calling you, not to frighten you, but to lead you into the portion that has long been prepared for you. You did not enter this moment by coincidence. On earth, many things appear random, but in my hand, every season has its rhythm, every door has its hour, every encounter, every delay, and every time you thought you had been left behind can become material for my grace. Ecclesiastes 3:11 says that I make everything beautiful in its time. Let that word soak into your heart like morning dew sinking into dry ground. In its time does not mean according to your impatience, nor according to the timetable of men. In its time is when your heart has become soft enough to receive, when your eyes have become clear enough to see, when your hands have become humble enough not to seize the blessing as a trophy, but to receive it as a gift from the Father. I know the desires you have never spoken. I know even the prayers you stopped halfway because you thought you were unworthy. There are things you have buried deep within your heart, not daring to ask, not daring to dream, not daring to hope, because you fear that if you hope one more time, your heart will hurt one more time. But my child, I do not measure my love by your confidence. I do not give grace only to the strong, nor do I call only those who are completely ready. I called Abraham when he did not yet know the road ahead. I lifted Moses when he trembled before the assignment. I saw David while he was still in the pasture, forgotten in the eyes of his family, but never forgotten in my eyes. Therefore, do not exclude yourself from what I am preparing. When people look at the outside, I look at the heart. When you see yourself as small, I see the seed that has been planted in holy ground. Perhaps you have passed through many seasons when the noise of humanity made you think you had to run faster, prove more, strain harder, and become someone else in order to be loved. But I did not call you so that you would lose yourself. I call you to return. Return to your true identity in me. Return to the peace that does not depend on applause. Return to the living water, where your soul no longer has to drink from the dry wells of temporary approval. Jesus said, "My sheep hear my voice. I know them, and they follow me," in John 10:27. You are my sheep, and my voice does not crush you. My voice does not shame you. My voice heals, builds up, gid, and lifts you out of darkness. Today, I want you to understand that a change of season is touching you. Not everything on the outside will change immediately, but within you, I am restoring order, The things that once confused you will gradually lose their authority over your mind. The fears that once whispered that you were abandoned will no longer sit on the throne of your heart. I will teach you to distinguish between noise and calling, between pressure and guidance, between a door built by men and a door opened by me. Revelation 3:8 says that I have set before you an open door that no one can shut. Remember this: when I open, no power can lock it again. When I call, no crowd can drown me out. When I lift you up, no past has the right to drag you down forever. So, be at peace. Let your soul stop struggling in doubt. Place your hand upon your chest and remember that there is still the heartbeat of grace within you. You have not gone too far for me to find you. You are not too deeply broken for me to heal you. You are not too late for me to make you new. I am your Father, the one who does not grow weary in love, the one who does not forget his promise, the one who calls light out of darkness and calls life out of places that seem dry and dead. Today, amid the noise of humanity, listen to my voice. Gentler than every other sound, you belong to me. You are remembered. You are chosen in love. You are stepping into a moment not arranged by fear, but opened by grace. And when you answer me with even a small faith, I will cause that faith to grow like a mustard seed, until it becomes shade for the days you once thought you could never overcome. My beloved child, draw a little nearer to me. Do not let the pace of life push you too far away from the gentle calling within your soul. There are days that pass like any other day. The sun still rises. Work still piles up. People come and go, speaking and laughing, yet in the place where ordinary eyes cannot see. A turning point is opening before your feet. Not every turning point comes with a loud sound. Sometimes it comes through a small decision, through an encounter that seems accidental, through an invitation that causes your heart to tremble, or through a fleeting thought you take lightly. That is why I call you today. Not to make your heart anxious, but to place my hand upon your shoulder and remind you that you do not walk alone. It is written, I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my eye upon you. Psalm 32:8. Do you see? I do not only stand at the end of the road waiting for you to stumble before lifting you up. I also go before you, light your path, and quietly hold back the things that could harm your soul. Many times you have tried to prove that you are strong, as though the whole world were watching you and demanding that you always stand firm. You have forced your heart to endure, telling yourself that tears are weakness, that rest is defeat, and that you must run faster in order to be worthy of love. But my child, your worth is not found in the applause of people, nor is it measured by the achievements you gather in your hands. Before you did anything, I already loved you. Before you knew how to call my name, I already knew every beat of your heart. I have loved you with an everlasting love, Jeremiah 31:3. That word is not only for the days when you shine, but also for the nights when you are weary, when you no longer have enough strength to pray in words and can only look silently into the darkness. In those moments, I still hear you, because your sigh is also a prayer before me. Therefore, lift up your head, but do not lift it in pride. Lift it in the faith that you are loved, protected, and guided. Walk slowly if you need to, but do not walk far from me. Rest if you are tired, but do not give up hope. Cry if your heart is full, but do not think those tears are meaningless before me. I gather every drop. I understand every pain, and I know everything you cannot yet put into words. From today onward, let your heart become tender before my call. When the world urges you to run, remember that I can lead you through peace. When darkness whispers that you are alone, remember that I have said, I will never leave you nor forsake you. Hebrews 13:5. My beloved child, I am here, closer than your breath, more enduring than every change in this life. Take my hand and walk with me through this turning point in the light. For what I have for you is not destruction, but life, healing, and a future covered by everlasting love.